Welcome aboard the BK Escape Pod. That's right, it's the augmented and bionic podcast version of the live show. You can hear Saturdays from 10 a.m. till 12 p.m. Eastern on 100.3 FM and AM 1450 WBHF Radio. You can stream the show live there Saturdays at WBHFradio.org or on the free Tunein app. Look out, here we go.
Stand by to receive our transmission.
Oh, yeah. It's that time again. I see that we both have our things that we always need to get us going in the morning. You've got your steaming hot brunette over there with you. Mm-hmm. She's hot and brunette, and you're really close to you there. You love that. I got my blonde, my steaming hot blonde over here with me, who's she's sweet, but she's artificial about it. You know, it's okay, but she's still sweet. So
I don't mind if she lies to me, as long as it's just to me for the moment.
That's right. Isn't that great that we both have our?
I'm okay with that.
Steaming blonde, and you got your steaming.
Tell me what I
want to
hear.
There. I love that. There we go. That's really good. I hope that what happened to me in the break room isn't a telling of what's to come, because as I was fixing my coffee back there, you weren't back here for this, but you would have chuckled if you'd been back there. I went to pour the packet in the coffee cup, and I dropped the whole packet in there. I'm like, oh crap. At least I got it all out before I dropped it in there, and it was still filling up, so I had to fish it out after it was done. So if that's the worst thing, it is 2020, so that's probably has not been the worst thing that's happened to me this year. The year marches on. It is getting closer to Christmas time, so Merry Christmas to everyone out there. It's BK on the air here on AM 1450 and 100.3 FM WBHF. I'm dispensing nostalgic geekiness, talk radio, fun every Saturday at this time for 2 hours, all the way up till noon. Alan Sanders is here with me, texting his lawyer over there on his phone.
I am having to take care of a couple of honey-do list items.
That's what I mean. You're talking to your lawyer.
I have a lawyer. Do you have a family lawyer?
No, I think he's no longer with us, but we did have one. Yes, we had a family boaster, a family stretch the truther. Yeah, we had one where you're like, I think about 90% of what this guy says is a lie, and I think the other 10% is untrue. That this guy used to say. So we had someone like that.
What about the family me monster? You know, the one that has outdone anything anybody has to say. Like somebody comes with a story like, "Hey, check this out! I just ran into I remember when I ran into blah blah blah." Like why? Those me monsters. I hate the me monster.
Yeah, and the other monster, the person that's actually you're having a conversation with, and you know this person, you've known them for years, and you're like, well, I'm sitting here talking to this person, and all they're waiting for me to do is to stop talking so they can talk about something that they did,
right?
Which is kind of like the me monster. I guess that would be the same thing. So
how about that one relative? And this is that time of year we're getting.
We say that because it's holidays, and we're going to run into all these people eventually.
That one relative who has had every ailment and worse than you. When you've maybe gotten over a really bad cold, like, hey, and they walk into the conversation. They're not even in the conversation. Yeah. They walk into it. You're talking about, hey, I heard you had a really bad cold.
Right.
You feel like, oh, yeah, that was one of the worst colds. Well, I remember the time I had pneumonia. Like, we're not talking to you.
I did run into some. I love it running into millennials too, whether there be just people that you know that are much younger than you that think they know everything, or they're part of your family. And when you school them with facts. Mm-hmm. And some people don't like that, because we were talking to somebody this past weekend about a younger person, much younger than us, but not too old, but younger. And they were saying something came up about the stars. I care for you more than there are stars in our solar system. And I'm like, well, that's just one.
Yeah, there's only one in our solar system.
No, there's not. There's billions and billions of stars out there in our solar system. I was like, no, there's not. There's billions in the universe, but in our solar system, there's only one star,
right? And
it's called the sun.
Do you understand why it's called a solar?
So yeah,
singular. It's not the solar's system.
So we
it's
had
a
to school her
solar
on that, and we had to also school her about. She was talking about with all the elections and stuff. And I don't get too political on this show or ever. I hardly ever get political, but she was talking about how she was talking down my country, USA. You and I are proud Americans, and we're always
America.
There's no country in the world that's perfect, but we're in the one that we love the best, and we think it's the most free loving country that we've already loved, and freedom loving. The subject came up about giving and charitable givings, and what country helps more than anybody else and gives more than any other country on the planet. And I'm like, well, USA does that. I said we give more help as far as help to other countries and whatnot in the world, more aid than any other country in the world. That's not true. That is simply not true. I'm like, let's look it up. Let's kind of look at the statistics, and you go to any site. Don't go to my sites that I find it. Just look, just fact check and look it up. And they found out that was true.
Who did they think gives more than the richest nation on earth?
I don't know. So anyway, the relative you talked about that thinks they know everything. Sometimes I like, when I get schooled too. Sometimes I'll get something wrong, and they're like, well, no, here's what the facts say. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, wow, I didn't know that. I thought it was something else. But I'm usually I don't like when I'm wrong. I'm like, I was wrong, darn it, but I'm going to move on. But I'm not going to sit there and get mad at you for because I was wrong. It's like that's the wrong reason to get mad. So, somebody that's lived 54, 55 years compared to someone who's only, I don't know, maybe 18, 17 years old. You may have a lot of college stuff and you may know a lot about, calculus and algebra and a lot of things that you're learning in college. But, living 54 years gives you a different type of life experience, which is longer. And there's a reason for that. Because you've lived longer and you've had time to go, well, that's a school fact, but I got a little more. I think I've got a little more living common sense than maybe you do, and that's true because you have kids. You know that it's true that's the way. This is so. And now funny. I get it from what my dad used to say to me. I'm like, I don't think I'll ever use when I get older. I'm never going to use the phrase, well, in my day. But now I say, well,
I'm still trying to avoid using that phrase.
Well, hey, even though I'm a stepdad, you're a dad, sometimes we go on YouTube and check out how to do things.
We do, but it was just funny for my youngest daughter to go, it's like you just, and my daughter literally said this, when I think something needs to be fixed, I don't think call mom, I think, Dad, this is a dad job. I need something hung. I need something physically done.
I need to work out. This is a dad thing. Work out or lose weight, I'll call mom. Right.
Well, when I need an intellectual answer, when I need grunt labor.
Oh, of course, yeah. Hold on a minute, wait a minute.
When I want to talk about philosophy and art, I'll call mom. Well, Dad, can you hang a rack?
Hey, okay. Speaking of that, I got something to tell you off the air about a rack. Got the Golden Rage of TV when we come back. It's BK on the air.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Honest Ed's Used Cars, where every car we sell is backed by an ironclad guarantee that is so complete and comprehensive that we really don't see any need to put it in writing. And remember Honest Ed's motto, if any used car dealer anywhere in the country says he can sell you the same car cheaper than we will, then he's even a bigger liar than I am.
I'd like to talk to you about good things to eat, like Swiss cheese on a crisp Ritz cracker, or a chunk of ham on a crisp Ritz cracker. Peanut butter and jelly on a crisp Ritz cracker. Everything tastes great when it sits on a Ritz. You hungry? Then have some onion dip on a crisp Ritz cracker. Good cracker. Good cracker. From Nabisco. Good cracker. Good cracker.
Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. Mannix ran 8 seasons from 1967 to 75 for a total of 194 episodes. Created by Richard Levinson and William Link, this final series from Desilu initially struggled conceptually during its first season. On the verge of cancellation, Lucille Ball knew it was worth going to bat for in what would become yet another one of her rescued classic TV shows. Promising the network modifications, she made it all about Joe Mannix, the independent private eye. And of course, it worked. Lead actor Mike Connors took home a Golden Globe and received multiple Emmy nominations for the show. And speaking of awards, many would agree the true breakout role was actress Gail Fisher as Peggy Fair. She won 2 Golden Globes and a Primetime Emmy for her part, effectively becoming the show's most awarded actor. And even more importantly, Fisher was the very first African-American ever to win these coveted awards for Outstanding Supporting Actress in a Dramatic Series. She also won the NAACP Image Award in 1969. A huge roster of classic TV stars made guest appearances, and 2 recurring roles included Lieutenant George Kramer, played by future MASH star Larry Linville, and the Brady Bunch's Robert Reed as Lieutenant Adam Tobias. Ironically, both Loretta Swit and Christopher Knight also guest starred on the show. Reportedly, during the run of the series, Mannix had been shot up to 19 times and knocked out approximately 50 times. In a classic TV crossover, Mike Connors appeared in a 1971 episode of Here's Lucy titled Lucy and Mannix Are Held Hostage. In it, Lucy initially doesn't recognize poor Joe, who comes to her apartment to protect her, so she knocks him out by smashing a vase over his head. I guess that counts as one more knockout. This is Pat McCormick with your Retro TV trivia from the Golden Rage of TV. You can also find me on YouTube and Facebook at Golden Rage of TV and on Twitter at Golden Rage of TV1. And now back to BK on the air.
Thank you, Pat, for that trip into the Golden Rage of TV. Did you ever watch?
I needed that.
Did you? I bet you did.
After everything else that's been
Off the
going
air.
on. Yeah.
It's Primal Scream.
Yes.
Or something. Did you ever get to watch? Pat was just talking about Mannix. Did you ever see Mannix?
I never had a chance to watch that show.
That show was probably at the time one of the most violent detective shows on television with
more than
Mike
Hawaii
Connors.
Five-0.
More than Hawaii Five-0. It really was. There was a lot of fight scenes in the 70s for its time. It was very
more than Rockford Files.
Groundbreaking in its violence, I think, at the time.
What's
because
crazy
Jim Rockford got his butt kicked every week on the Rockford.
There was
Files.
a lot of violence.
Right.
Poor guy.
I know. He was like, "Hey, this is Jim Rockford.
Can he win a fight today? Can he like the really rottens on the?
Do you want me to solve your case?
Olympics?
I will, but I'll get beat up along the way."
It must have been though one of those just iconic shows because even though you asked me, have I ever seen it? I had still heard the name.
You'd always heard Mannix, the show. It was a great show, and like I say, I've been discovering a lot of older shows that they're new to me because if I didn't watch them ever, I've never seen them before. That's like I've been watching Hawaii Five-0 lately. Mannix is great too, but Mannix, he drove a Firebird, I think. He was one of the first guys, I think, to drive a Firebird, I think, on the air.
Was it a Firebird?
He had a cool car. I think it was. I think it was gold colored. It was a gold. I have to look that up. I don't
Now you got see.
I don't want to be crazy.
No, and here's my personality flaw. Having never watched the show, I'm actually questioning you.
Wait a minute. No, I am wrong. But somebody did drive a Firebird. No, it was Rockford. Jim Rockford did drive the gold Firebird. Mannix drove a 68 Dodge GTS. I knew it was another cool car. But let me look up Jim Rockford's
I don't think
car.
Rockford drove a Firebird. I think Michael Knight drove a Firebird.
I know he drove one. Jim Rockford. Yeah, Jim Rockford drove a 1974 Pontiac Firebird Esprit. Is what James Rockford drove. It was the earlier version. I think it was the 74 model right before the Smoking the Bandit one. It was the model before that,
like the F-body one.
Well, it still kind of looked like that, but it had the different front end than the one in Smoking the Bandit. So I was half right and half wrong.
And then we go to Starsky and Hutch, and then we'd have no idea. I just know it had the swoosh.
Oh, it was a Ford Gran Torino. That's what it's the same car that Clint Eastwood had in the movie Gran Torino that he directed. It's that same body style, only theirs was red and white. Yeah, with white.
The swoosh.
The white swoosh. Everybody
before
wanted
Nike,
that one too.
There was Starsky and Hutch.
Couldn't we do? Yeah. With their little swoosh.
Let's give everybody some fake facts. When you go to trivia.
Yeah. Who had a swoosh before Nike? Actually, we have to look that up. When did Nike do the swoosh? Maybe Starsky and Hutch wasn't before Nike.
I don't know.
That's funny because I think Starsky and Hutch started in, was it 76, 75? I can't remember. Again, these are facts that I don't have time to look up because I'm on the air. But I do have a story here when it comes to movies, and this came out this week, and all this is going on right under your nose. Trent Moore from sci-fi.com has this particular story about it. Warner Brothers streaming, HBO Max, and in the cinemas. Warner Brothers is using the fallout of the pandemic to completely shake up its release strategy for 2021. Now, we're getting close to the end of the year. 2021's coming up with every major title set to receive a simultaneous theatrical and streaming rollout from Warner Brothers on HBO Max. That's right. All the studios' big movies will drop on streaming at the same time they hit the big screen for no additional charges to subscribers.
And it's not just one or two. It is the entire 2021 lineup.
Yeah, they're always saying for 2021.
Including the major, supposed to be summer blockbuster
Right, I have some of the list here at the bottom. Now, granted, if things, we'll see how they're going to get better fast because this thing has still got us holding us hostage, this pandemic thing. But I would say if things start to drastically change, maybe they would change that later on. In 2021.
Depends on whatever agreements they've got.
Now, it's almost hard to process, and it could have major implications for the future. This is what scares me. Implications for the future of movies and movie theaters. But for fans, too, it means the biggest blockbusters of the year will be easier than ever to watch, even though I may not agree with what they're doing. Films like The Suicide Squad, Godzilla vs. Kong, and Dune, the new Dune film, will all be landing on streaming in addition to the big screen. The studio is basically taking its Wonder Woman 1984 plan and running with it. That means we have a whole lot of release dates to plug into the streaming calendar looking ahead to 2021. I personally don't agree with this. I think that if they're going to release things, please release things in the theater, and then instead of waiting as long as you usually waited before to premiere things on streaming or pay-per-view or home video or whatever you want to call it now, since it's morphed so many times, maybe don't wait a year, wait maybe 4, 5, 6 months or whatever, and give the theaters time to recoup some of this. I don't think the theaters are enjoying this news. They say, I think AMC came out and said they didn't have a problem with it, but I think behind closed doors, they've got to say something different. So which big genre movies are coming out to HBO Max now in this Warner Brothers deal, and when? Let's dig in through. Of course, all these release dates are subject to change, and it is a pandemic after all, so I know you won't forget that. Wonder Woman 1984, opening Christmas Day, and that's still, they thought they weren't going to do that, but they are, simultaneously on HBO Max and in the theater. There's a live-action CGI hybrid Tom and Jerry film coming out.
I did not know there was one in the works.
Which looks pretty funny. That's March 5th, 2021. That's Warner Brothers. Godzilla vs. Kong, the big square-off of the monsters that I was looking so much forward to, May 21st of 2021. Broadcast on both cinema and HBO Max. James Gunn, the guy who brought you the Guardians of the Galaxy from Marvel, when Disney fired him, he went over and got him a job at Warner Brothers and DC Comics and made The Suicide Squad. His film, The Suicide Squad, which is kind of a sequel, reboot, or whatever you want to call it, of Suicide Squad. This one's called The Suicide Squad. You want to make a second film? Add the word "the" to the beginning of it, and that does it. And that makes it a kind of a different film. He's directing this, so that makes me want to see it. Believe it or not, I want to see it since James has got his hand in it.
I like his writing. I like his directing. So, yeah, I'm kind of like you.
That's August 6th for The Suicide Squad 2021. Dune, that I know Alan and I are kind of looking forward to see
so looking forward
what the
to
director
I'm
of
gonna go
Blade Runner 2049 is going to do with it. October the 1st, so we've got a while to wait on that.
I've already been back to the theater, so I have no problem going to the theater to watch that.
We've been going. You and I have been going to the theater since March.
Can I know you want to go through the rest of this, but I
got one more.
Okay, go ahead. You finish your
I've got one more. The Matrix 4. December, that's over almost a year away now, December 22nd, 2021. The Matrix 4, The Matrix, one of the sequels, streaming and in theaters. Warner Brothers.
A lot of the Facebook pages that I follow that are either entertainment-driven or fan pages of things, there's definitely a line in the sand. If you are less than a Gen Xer, if you're a Gen Y, Gen Z, millennial, you're saying, well, the movie theaters have kind of come and gone, haven't they? We've got such cool screens at home, such great sound systems. So that age range is saying, yeah, that kind of makes sense. And then Gen X and above goes, you will never have a movie theater-size movie theater in your home. You might have a home, and I have a great home theater setup. I love going back and watching the movies a second time at home.
Sure.
But you can't beat the big screen experience.
No.
Not one of if you have a good theater with a good projection, good lighting, and great surround sound,
right,
it's immersive.
Because that is the medium it was filmed on,
right,
and the optimum way to watch it. That's correct. It's big and bold. Now, this is the same group of kids now that's growing up that don't want to drive. They don't want to leave home.
Right.
They just want to stay at home and play the video games and hang out and have the refrigerator in the basement by the video game that they play.
At some point, someone's going to have to work.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to get a job eventually, I guess, unless your parents are really, really rich, and mine weren't, and neither were yours.
When is that going to hit that range? If you can actually do something with my life.
So you don't want to drive, you don't want to get a car, you don't want to get out there in the world, and a lot of the younger kids don't nowadays. Here I go sounding like an old guy again. But I'm sorry, you don't want to go to the theater to enjoy a big movie. I do. Don't keep us from doing it. That's why I beg the theaters and Warner Brothers, just release them in the theater first would be the best thing to do, and then stream them a little bit later. It's fine. You get your money.
You and I, we had the exact same kind of teenage years. Getting the car and going to the movies was the ultimate form of, like, the initial adulthood. We wanted to be. We could get out on our own with our friends, and the movies weren't really all that expensive. You could say, "What are you doing tonight? Let's go see a movie."
Yeah.
And now you got an entire group of kids. I can't relate to that idea of saying, "Well, I'm just going to sit home. Maybe we just get online."
No, I'll just watch it on my phone. No. I hardly, I watch very rarely. Do I watch things on my phone like a movie or something, because I still want that. I want to see it. I think I want to see it, and I know they have the magnifiers you can wear on your head to put your phone in. I'm like, it's still not the same. It's still a phone sticking on the top of my head. Speaking on there, we'll be back with Flash in the audience.
Friday, Wonder Woman shatters a hitman's disguise. Then, incredible suspense as a massive earthquake threatens a nuclear explosion. And the Incredible Hulk faces the toughest test of his life. Friday, starting at 8, 7 Central Mountain Time.
Tomorrow on CBS.
Give it up! Podcast Magazine presents the Hot 50 Countdown.
Hi, it's Rob Actis, host of the podcast magazine Hot 50 Countdown. Join me as I count them down from 50 to number 1, the top 50 podcasts in the land as determined by you, the podcast fans. From true crime, society and culture, self-help, health and fitness, science, and every podcast category in between. The Hot 50 Countdown is here.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
That's great. Hey, we're back. It's BK on the air here, having a good time off the air. Boy, we're having we talk about a lot of stuff off the air that could be a different, like a podcast or something.
It's
like
a sidecast.
Relationship help and stuff at
or
home.
Or in this case, help with my relationship.
Home fix stuff. Would needing help with a relationship mean part of home fix it?
Yeah.
You're at home and you need something fixed, and it's a relationship thing, so maybe it's, I don't know.
Well, my wife's got a great answer for this. So, like, we don't have any problems as long as you do what I tell you. I was like, you're kind of right.
And that part of that, I kind of think it's okay, because that means maybe when things go horribly wrong, it's not your fault. It's someone else's fault.
No.
Why doesn't it work that way?
I wish.
Because that's the way. Hey, if you want to take responsibility for everything, go ahead, honey. But if it all goes south, it's on you. Why doesn't that part of it work?
I get that wonderful irony of do it exactly like I told you, and then when it doesn't go right, say, you know what? There's two of us in this. You could have said something.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
See?
You can't win.
Maybe people might know
the
what
Billy Joel
what
song
we're talking about off the air.
She's always a woman to me.
Yep. I always wondered, was Always a Woman to Me by Billy Joel, is he being nice, or is he taking a little dig?
Well, much like the rest of the
really
song, it kind of goes both ways.
It's like, okay, what is he trying to say here? Wow, it's time that we're going to flash the audience now. The news, the weird, the strange, and the bizarre. We should do a flash about us, because we're weird and strange and bizarre all the time. And I've got the first news from CNN.
By the way, if I don't show up next week, just make sure you send investigators to my backyard with cadaver sniffing dogs.
If neither one of us show up,
because this is that's the one time they did tune in.
Right,
just
they
this
both
moment
started listening. Yeah, and in your house, your dogs may dig you up because they go out in the backyard.
They very well might.
If they see a fresh thing that's just been dirt out there,
smells like Dad.
Yeah, he's under the ground. Let's get him out of there.
Dad's taking a dirt nap.
From CNN, as we head into December, listen to this: Jupiter and Saturn appear to be getting closer and closer in the night sky. Astronomers call it the Great Conjunction.
Groovy.
Wasn't that in the Dark Crystal?
That was the Dark Crystal.
But it's also been dubbed the Christmas star, or Star of Bethlehem, because of its brightness and proximity to December the 25th. The heavenly meeting of the two biggest worlds in our solar system is an extremely close one. Saturn and Jupiter will only appear to be 1/5 the diameter of a full moon apart from each other. This will be the closest conjunction since 1623. See, here's something else that's going to happen that's going to mess everything up. What is this going to cause? I don't know. And it will officially take place on December the 21st. So get ready. Although the Christmas star will be visible the entire 4th week of the month, according to Earth Sky. The planets will appear in the southwest sky about an hour after sunset. Viewing conditions will depend on the weather and the skies in your area, so check your weather and whatnot and see if you'll be able to see this. So the Dark Crystal, the Great Conjunction, is going to happen on December the 21st. So who knows what that's going to
Well, if
to
there's
cause
some kind of ram troll mixed Agra running around going, think it is easy, do you? I'm just going to stay inside. The one day to get me to stay in.
I saw a couple of them at Thanksgiving. So, yeah. Who knows what's going to happen? I mean, the Grand Conjunction is coming December the 21st.
Conjunction junction? What's its function?
Function to mess up the rest of the year. Oh, yeah.
All right. I've got the next news.
How much more messed up could it get? Hey, don't
challenge.
Don't you? I didn't say that. Sorry, I didn't say that.
All right. Well, a silver-colored metal monolith has been discovered in California shortly after similar monoliths in Utah and Romania were discovered,
and it wasn't,
and then subsequently removed. Yeah. Well,
don't tell me there was another one
Well, according to this, the first metal monolith was discovered by a Utah Department of Public Safety Aero Bureau helicopter crew.
We talked about that.
In a rural area in southwestern part of the U.S. in late November. Well, the mysterious landmark became a tourist attraction before being removed days later by a group of men who said they were seeking to stop the influx of visitors from ruining the natural landscape and leaving trash behind.
Right.
Now, I don't doubt that. People don't tend to know how to take care of the nature. A very similar structure now was spotted on a hill near the Petrodava Dacian fortress in Romania.
Another one.
A few days after the Utah monolith first appeared, and then it was removed by an unknown party shortly after the initial sighting.
So
what? Well, that's it. That's the end of the story.
It's not. So it's
it
not.
Doesn't continue.
So it's not aliens. It's or is it aliens? We talked about this last week. Or is it aliens? And they're saying no, it's not. No,
well, you know what territory is hidden within Romania?
What?
Transylvania.
Oh, well, that's right. It's
a territory in Romania.
So you mean it has? We're mixing 2001 with Dracula here?
It could very well be something supernatural.
It's 2020, so.
Hey, just because it's supernatural doesn't mean it can't be aliens. Maybe it's supernatural aliens.
The monoliths are showing up. The Great Conjunction's coming on the December the 21st, and it's not even the end of the year yet. What else? I mean, I'm not challenging anything.
Don't keep saying what else.
This is crazy. Come on.
You said what else a few weeks ago. Now we've got monoliths around the world.
3 of them, and they go, nothing to see here. Move on. I got the next news. From UPI, a Japanese entertainment complex, I saw this and this is cool, dedicated to classic anime series Mobile Suit Gundam, unveiled its star attraction, a 59-foot-high robot statue that can move its arms, legs, and head. The Gundam Factory Yokohama Entertainment Complex showed off the abilities of the 20-ton full-scale replica of the RX-78 Gundam from the animated series. The giant robot can move its arms, its legs, and its head to strike different poses. It can vogue, in other words. The complex said the Gundam will change its it changes its poses every half hour. Once the attraction is opened.
Well, it takes a half an hour to move into the next pose. It's not exactly moving at the same speed of the anime.
He's starting to move now. And let's go get lunch. And come back. He's finished.
Still kind of impressive that
it is
you've got a robot that big moving.
And if you look online and search for that, the 59-foot Mobile Suit Gundam in Japan. It's a great video. You can see it move and everything. I never watched that show, but I would love to have seen a giant, one of the Robotech robots or one of the ones that we watched, like a Star Blazers thing or maybe one of the G-Force Battle.
Voltron!
That'd be great. Voltron, yeah, the guy with the lion for arms.
Yes.
Voltron came together. And again, Voltron was one that came in later. That shows our age difference. I had stopped watching it at that point because Voltron was one of the later shows to come in, and that's why I didn't see Voltron. I grew up on, of course, Speed Racer first and Battle of the Planets, and then Star Blazers came along later, and I watched
That's called
all
G-Force,
3 of those.
Sir.
That's right. Depending on where you're watching it. Syndication, that's right. Well, in Japan, it's Gotcha Man as well.
Gotcha Man. So, yeah. All right. I got the next news.
A lot more violent in the unedited version when I found out, too. So
let's move away from anime to animal rescuers in Australia. Were summoned to the home of a woman who found something unexpected in the branches of her Christmas tree.
Oh, a squirrel.
Kind of, but from Australia.
A Tasmanian devil.
Close.
Bendy
They
Irwin.
like eucalyptus.
What's the little cute little bears with the big Jimmy Durante nose?
Yeah.
A koala bear.
Koala
they
bear.
found a koala bear in the
koala
Christmas tree.
came in the Christmas tree.
That's a risk.
Yeah, the Adelaide and Hills Koala Rescue said the hotline operator initially thought they were being pranked when Amanda McCormick called to report finding a koala climbing the Christmas tree inside her home in Manham. Quote, but no, a koala desperate to get in the Christmas spirit had wandered into Amanda's house and decided it wanted to be the fairy on top of the Christmas tree.
Koala.
The female koala was then safely returned to the outdoors.
So they thought it was a prank. Oh, lady, that's not... Get out of here. You don't have a koala in your tree.
Don't tell me you've got a koala in there.
We've got more important things to do.
Look, miss, we have a job to do here. You know?
We've got beer to drink.
Perhaps you've...
and crocodiles to wrestle. Koala in the tree.
We're in here comparing knives.
Is that not an Australian story, koala bear in the Christmas tree?
I would take a koala bear over better than the squirrel.
We'll return after these announcements.
Hey everyone, it's me, Alan Sanders.
And me, BK on the air.
To tell you about WBHF's informative, entertaining, and fun 5 hours of Saturday morning talk radio. First, Waking Up with Alan, 7 to 10 a.m. It's where I take a look at the world and community topics of interest, and sometimes even feature guests from all around Bartow County, plus a few opinions of my own.
And then it's time for me, BK on the air, from 10 a.m. till noon. It's where we celebrate nostalgic geekiness, entertainment of the past and present, along with the strange and bizarre. Plus, we have a ton of fun.
So, as you're finishing up that nice morning cup of coffee
or that big bowl of cereal,
tune in to us Saturday morning
right here on AM 1450 and 100.3 FM WBHF. You can also listen online at WBHFradio.org or download the Tunein app for your mobile devices.
We are your guardians of Saturday morning.
Ooh,
that was pretty good.
I liked it. Brought a tear to my eye.
You want to keep that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? I'm just going to save it.
Good.
Okay, cool.
Yep, that's funny. Two guys are hilarious.
Whoever they are, those are great.
Those guys are.
That's award-winning right there.
Hey, we're back. It's BK on the air. WBHF.
Award nominated.
Or on the podcast if you're listening there, depending on where you're listening. We've won some things.
There are no winners in this room.
That's not true. That's impossible.
That's impossible.
That's not true. There are winners in this room. We'll talk about it here in a little bit. There are a couple of winners in this room. Well, they're on the winners list, which was kind of fun. Yeah. I mean, we've lost at a lot of things.
Oh, my gosh.
Loss has been part of our lives for many, many years.
Isn't it funny how tone plays into that? I know we got another news story, but
that's funny.
You could say, hey, what a winner. Or, boy, that guy's a winner.
Yeah, oh, he's a winner. Yeah.
That's a winner.
There's certain profanity words, which we can't say on the air, that are used in so many ways, depending on how you say them.
Sometimes
there's one in particular. There's one word that you can say.
The most useful word in the English
way
language.
You say it, it depends on what your situation is.
It could be a verb, a noun, an adjective. Like I said, almost every word in a sentence.
Tune in to the podcast and find out which one we're talking about.
You can't say it here.
Got another news. Oh, from UPI, a French chef captured a Guinness World Record by cooking up a pizza.
Is it because he's French and he's doing an Italian dish? Is that what that is?
You'd think so. No. He cooked a pizza up that contained 254 varieties of cheese.
Okay, first, I didn't know there were that many varieties of cheese.
That's a lot of cheese.
254 varieties of cheese.
Brule combined 254 cheeses to top a pizza cooked up in the city of Lyon. In the Guinness World Records were telling us about it. They shared a video showing Brule weighing out portions of cheese to make sure that there was enough of each variety to qualify for the world record. Benoit told Guinness officials that he thought it was important that the record held by France, which is known for its cheeses. So that's why he did it, because they're more known for cheese than the Italians.
You take your Wisconsin and shove it up your nose, you poor Americans. We are from France.
Isn't that cool? Now, would it be with that many types of cheeses? Is it possible to put so many ingredients together that it kind of just it all melds together and it just you can't tell anything and it tastes like nothing? I don't know how that would be with cheeses. I'd be willing to try.
I'd be willing to give that one a try.
Yeah, because by the way, I know they're an advertiser and they're local, but one of our favorite pizza places now is St. Angelo's in Emerson. Man, they got some good pizza over there. And
they do make a good pie.
And I've been going there even since the pandemic. We've been one of their. We've adopted them as a business that we want to go and get them. And
you're a repeat loyal customer?
Yes. Stacy loves the deep dish there. And I love their garlic knots. Their garlic knots bread. Talk about healthy.
Isn't there something cool about that local restaurant when you become a regular and they know you and you sit down and they go, hey, you want to get that same order?
Yeah.
I've always thought it was cool. I never thought this would happen to me, but when I got old enough to where I would go to a place and they go, the usual? Like, oh my God, I'm like in a movie. Yeah. The usual. They know what I like. The usual.
And something else. We always say back in my day now. Back in my day. And we said we'd never say that, but we say it all the time, especially on this show.
I shouldn't have said it that way. Sorry. Hey, it's catching up to me.
Are we becoming Waldorf and Statler on the Muppet Show up in the balcony?
Yeah. Which one's funnier? Well,
I don't know.
I guess I'd be Statler. You'd be Waldorf.
Where were you when the lights went out in the dark?
That was... All right, I got the last news.
You know, they always complained about the Muppet Show from the balcony, but they never left. They always sat there and watched it.
And they always paid the most. You know, those are the most expensive tickets in the house.
They're the balcony seats. Yeah, unless they just lived up there and never left. So.
They can't stand to mix with the riffraff down below.
Muppets have another problem. They can't really move on their own. They got a hand up their butt.
I swear, one of the funny...
Did you ever?
thought
Did you ever see the X-ray of Kermit the Frog? The meme of the X-ray. It showed his X-ray, and he's looking at it. He's like, "What? There's a hand?
There's a hand where?"
It was great. Sorry, I'm sorry.
I always liked the Waldorf and sorry.
Yeah, they were great.
All right, I got the next. No, wait, I already
did it.
We already did it,
but
I
I'll
got
do it again.
Yeah, that.
Flash Gordon.
All right, from
You'll
UPI,
love this one, by the way.
A Boston-based auction house is offering a rare piece of personal computing history: a fully functional Apple I computer with its original box, signed by the designer Steve Wozniak.
Yeah.
Yeah, R&R Auction said the Apple I, one of only a handful known to still exist with its original shipping box, was restored to its original working condition in September by Apple I expert Corey Cohen. The box was signed by Wozniak during a 2005 event at the University of California, Los Angeles. The Apple I was designed by Wozniak and Apple co-founder Steve Jobs back in 1976.
Yeah.
They built about 200 of the personal computers, selling about 175 of them. The computer set to be auctioned by R&R on December 10th through the 17th, a whole week long for you to bid, includes the original Apple I operation manual, the original Apple cassette interface manual, as well as a program from the 2005 event where Wozniak signed the box. Bidding starts at a mere...
How much?
$50,000
For that. Wow. Well, that's pretty. I mean, that's a bit of history.
But that is personal computing history. I was 6 when Steve Jobs and Wozniak sat in the back in a garage and goes, "We could build one of these."
Yeah.
And like, who's going to buy it? And then they only built 200, sell 175. Failures.
Yep.
I remember when people thought anybody who liked computers, what a dork.
Yeah.
Like we're going to all grow up and people have computers.
Yeah.
I grew up with that all the time.
I was a geek, but I wasn't a nerd. Usually if you're a geek and you're a nerd together, nerds are very smart. They're nerds because they're smart.
I pretended.
And stuff. I was a geek, which meant I was more into just Star Trek and sci-fi and stuff like that, but I wasn't into computers. I didn't own a computer until I guess it was 1992. I had a computer, and at that point, I was still using it was 1990, something like that. I was using an old IBM monochrome green-colored screen thing just to log on to CompuServe, and all that infancy stuff was just starting. All that stuff was new, and it was a very old computer that somebody gave me. That's the first one I ever had.
From the Atari 2600, my household has never been without a console or a computer, because we went straight from that to the Commodore 64 to the first.
Yeah.
Was it the 8088 processor, little with a CRT monochrome monitor, and went through.
You're the computer guy. That's why here at the station every now and then you'll hear, "Hey, Alan, what's wrong with this computer? Why can't I get it to do this?" Or,
"No,
can you come in here, Alan?"
Yeah.
Hey.
And then I say, "Well, here's why." I'm like, "Oh, well, IT won't let you do that." I'm like, "Okay, well, then call them."
Here's what I hated when I worked for companies in the past, and they had an IT guy, and no one knows as much as they do. That's why they're there with the computers to do them.
Supposedly.
So I'm like, hey, IT guy, come here. What's wrong? How do I do this?
I can't print.
And they'll shove me aside and go, well, here's what you have to do. And he goes, and I'm like, I'm not going to remember any of this. You're flying by with this stuff in front of me at warp speed. Please explain it to me a little bit better than that.
And
then
my
they
God,
got mad
I can't believe you can't figure out how to print.
I hated that.
You're
I
so
hated
stupid.
that. And they wonder why they're hated. Oh, I'm an IT guy. Why do people not like me?
In
Well,
this
I wonder
same
why.
job or in that realm, did you have that one IT guy that never wanted to part with any cool gear? Like, he lauded it over you? Like, hey, my printer really doesn't work anymore. Well, we don't just give those to anybody. What do you know? It's a printer. I need a printer for my job.
Yeah, I worked for a company once where I needed something, and they had an obsolete something or another, whatever. They would rather have thrown it away than give it to me, and I'm like, I don't get that. Why did you? I could use that.
Oh wow!
I worked for a boss many years ago at a furniture company when I was out of high school. He had a little power boat in the back of his business that just kind of sat back there on a trailer that he had neglected, and it just sat there, and it sat there. And I'm like, you ever going to do anything with that boat? It's been out there for years, and it's salvageable. It could be, it could have been waxed and fixed up and everything, and the engine may be repaired or replaced or whatever. I'm like, I sure would like to have a boat, but I can't afford a new boat. I would really like to. You do anything
take
with that boat?
off your hands?
Yeah, you want to do anything with that boat? Yeah, I don't think I want to part with that boat. Nah, I'm sorry. Now get back to work. I'm like, oh, okay. So, and then few months passed by, and I was still working there, and I see the boat's gone one day. I'm like, hey, where'd the boat go? It's not out back anymore. He's like, oh, I had him come trash it. I'm like, what? What? I would never do that. I'm constantly giving things away, especially recently since we've been cleaning out our attic and our basement, getting the house ready to sell and redesigning things and fixing stuff and just getting rid of stuff where I'm like, if I haven't put my hand on this item for a year and it's got dust on it, it's out of here. I'm donating it or I'm getting rid of it. And we did that.
I need to be better about that.
Well, I just got to where I had to because the house that we're eventually going to move into that we're going to retire to is smaller, and that's a good thing. I like it because
I want a smaller
I don't want the accumulation of things. I don't need things anymore. I'm going to use the money for things and use it for travel or something else. Oh, can you tell we're getting older? Somebody just turned 50 last week. It's BK on the air.
Everything's under control. Situation normal.
What happened?
Had a slight weapons malfunction, but everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
We're sending a squad up.
Negative. We have a reactor leak here now. Give us a few minutes to lock it down. Large leak, very dangerous.
Who is this? What's your operating number?
Boring conversation anyway.
There's one. Set for stun.
Oh, holy night. Stars are brightly shining.
It's BK on the air. Merry Christmas, everybody.
On your knees. Oh, hear the angels' voices.
Bring it home.
Who died?
Merry Christmas to everybody out there. It is Christmas time. And thank you. And thank you, Steve W. Malden, for your version of O Holy Night. That's right. Merry Christmas to one and all. Thank you very much. You played.
That may be the worst thing I have ever heard.
Oh, come on. No, it's not. Think about it. You can probably come up with something a lot worse than that. I think that's great.
Oh, it's like
no, it's Holy Night. Let's do a little on this day in history. Since we are creeping up closer and closer to Christmas, it is December the 5th. Let's look at what happened in this day in history. 1623, the year 1623. And I put this on here for you. Is that when the other convergence happened? Well, no, this is for you. Check it out. The first copies on this date in 1623, the first copies purchased of William Shakespeare's first folio collecting his plays into one volume, bought by Edward Deering on this day in history.
One of the things I treasure in my library is I have a copy of the first folio. Not the first folio, but it's a copy of the first folio. So the original collection that was put together.
Isn't it too bad that Shakespeare really didn't write all that stuff? I mean, that's just terrible. I hate that. Hey, it's what I heard. I read it.
Hashtag CNN.
I read a folio about it. So, 1945 on this day, Flight 19, the Lost Squadron of 5 torpedo bombers and 14 airmen is lost off the east coast of Florida in the supposed Bermuda Triangle. Didn't they find them in Close Encounters of the Third Kind in the first part of the film?
That was part of that movie, yes.
Didn't the aliens return them into the desert?
In the desert.
Which is great, yeah. By the way, did I tell you our last cruise we took back when we were still cruising?
Did you go through the Bermuda Triangle?
We went right through the Bermuda Triangle. I went out and I started looking around. I'm like, I didn't see nothing.
I kept looking for that little spiral laser thing from like the Final Countdown.
Yeah.
Waiting to see if our ship goes into that.
Stacy opened up the balcony door when I was out there looking. She goes, okay, we're in the Bermuda Triangle. You're looking. Have you seen anything? I'm like,
we ain't found
like I ain't seen nothing out here. A bunch of water out here. I didn't see anything. Yeah, I've been through the Bermuda Triangle. Didn't see nothing. 1973 on this date, Paul McCartney and Wings released one of their best albums ever, Band on the Run in the U.S. That's probably one of their biggest hits that they ever had, at least after the Beatles he ever had.
See, usually there's a comma in there for me. I'm banned and on the run.
Okay. Where you banned from?
Everything.
Is it too long of a list for me to tell you? 1974, the final episode of Monty Python's Flying Circus airs on BBC TV on this date in 1974. A little bit later, it would make it to PBS in America, then we would be able to see it. On this day, movie opened on this day in 1984. You want to take a stab at what movie opened on this day in 1984 on December the 5th? Has something. It has a guy in it whose name is the same as a piece of equipment on a car and a flower. His first name is a piece of car equipment, and his second name is a flower. There's your hint. That's the only hint I can come up with, because if I give you anything else, you're going to guess it.
Engine Rose? Or
try Axl Rose.
Axl Rose. There we go.
Beverly Hills Cop, released on this day in 1984.
Axl Foley.
Oh, is it? Oh, Axl Rose.
Axl Rose,
oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Dumbass.
Jeez, OP.
That's funny. There's one of your BK on the air mess ups.
Wow,
that's funny. See, I don't listen to Guns N' Roses, and you know what? You know why I made that mistake? And I'm going to admit a crime to you, because some people are going to hate this. I've never seen Beverly Hills Cop all the way through once. I've never seen it once. I've only seen it parts of it.
Oh,
so I need to watch it. I really need to do after all this time.
1 and 2 are really good.
There are some 80s films I've never seen. Really, I've never seen Flashdance. I never got to watch it. I mean, it's a staple 80s film. It really was. But I never got to see it. 1984, number 1 on the Billboard chart, Wake Me Up Before You Go by Wham on this day. Now, funny, the very next few days later, the number 1 song was the Beverly Hills Cop song.
Axl F.
Yeah, that was, I think that was the number 1 song. But it wasn't on this date. 1984, Beverly Hills Cop was released on this day in 1984. What do you think the number 1 movie was on this day, though, in 1984? I'm not going to give you hints, because I'll get the hints wrong.
That was actually more fun.
Had nothing to do with Axl Rose, by the way.
I had no idea that Guns N' Roses had their debut film in 1984.
You learn things talking to me.
I'm not even
sure
Axl Rose was born. Yeah, I think he's probably born. No idea. 84 is a good year.
Missing in Action with Chuck Norris was the number 1 film on this day in 1984.
Really?
That long ago.
That's a long time ago.
In 1993, on this day, astronauts begin repair, and I remember this, you probably remember it too from the news, began repairing the Hubble Space Telescope in space. That was 1993 when that happened. Yeah.
There was a pretty good documentary about how they were going to fix it from all the work they had to do, simulating the work on Earth before
they
going
had
up
to
there.
Run through it all down here first.
The crew just sitting there going, everybody looking to us to say to fix this multi-billion-dollar what was going to end up being the worst mistake in NASA's history.
Right. Isn't that the part of the unsung heroes, mostly, of the people behind the scenes of that and Apollo 13? Those people are the people at NASA, not the astronauts so much, but the people behind the scenes were the heroes in a lot of that. 770-386-1450 is our number. Hey, somebody's on the line here right now. Let's find out who it is. BK on there. Who's this?
So you confuse Axl Rose with Axl Foley.
Yeah, how did I know that you were going to call on that? But you know what? But Eric, you know what I didn't do? I didn't report that Axl Rose was dead, though, did I? And silence means Eric is thinking.
Eric is fuming.
That means the cogs in his head are turning around and around and around when he's not talking. See, he's thinking. Right? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, well, that's okay. Just so we're straight on that. So, yeah, I did mess up. But
Did you know Bob Newhart's still alive?
We mess up from time to time, though, don't we, Eric?
Look, I made one mistake.
Look, it's the first sign you're getting old.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. Getting old, you're going to do it.
I don't like you.
We love you, buddy. I got to go. We're taking a break.
All right,
bye.
See, we always got, you know what that's called, having that thing with Bob Newhart with him? That's a trump card with him. We can play that anytime we want.
It's called a chit. You tuck that away, and you can spend it later.
They don't work with our better halves.
No, those never work.
They don't work with those. And by the way, I got a text from her, too. She's listening, and she was listening earlier when we were talking. So check your phone, too. You might have a text, too. It's big on there. We're going to take a break.
My phone blew up.
I've got a little more. I got a few more dates in history when we come back.
I get
so
howlers.
Stay tuned for that. Oh, you do?
Dumbass.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
All right, Blue Christmas, take one.
Yeah, but I'll have a be a blue, blue Christmas.
Seymour Swine and the Squealers with Blue Christmas. It's not Porky Pig.
Could you have a Porky Pig today, or would someone go,
no,
you're just making fun of someone with a speech problem?
You couldn't, and we've lost that. And I think we've lost other things that we've lost. Well, number one, we've lost a sense of humor. Yeah, where's the sense of humor gone? So,
someone shared a cartoon, funny. And it was a museum of 2020, and it was like obviously it's in the future. And there was in the glass container was somebody at a microphone at the bottom. It said comedian. He goes, "Yeah, we used to have these back before 2020." It was a funny little political cartoon.
Goofy, weird radio talk show host in one of those too. I think one of these days, like, oh look, this is the people that used to be on there. They had these real weird, low voices that talk like DJs and stuff.
You're allowed to be funny as long as you don't tell any jokes.
Right. You're allowed to be funny. Just don't be funny, or you're only funny what I think is funny, or what the group thinks.
You can't make fun of anything I think is not funny.
770-386-1450 is our number. Somebody else is on the line right now. Oh, hey Jeff. Good morning. How you doing there, buddy?
I wish everybody a very Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
And Porky, that's one of my favorite Christmas songs, Porky the Pig.
Yeah, and it's Seymour Swine and the Squealers is the name of the group. I think they're doing their best.
Got to avoid the lawsuit.
Yeah, their best impression of Porky there. You're right. Yeah, Seymour Swine. That was funny. That's, Elvis's Blue Christmas was one of those iconic songs, and it was great, and I love it. But when I get older now, I really tend to listen more to the goofy, dumb, weird, stupid Christmas songs that just make me laugh, and I think I have the most fun listening to those, and that's one of them that never gets old.
Yeah, and Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
They're just fun. I mean, come on, they're just right up my alley. It's the kind of stuff that I like. It's great. I do like the orchestrated ones, too.
All right, guys, I just want to touch base. So
thank you for wishing us a Merry Christmas, and a Merry Christmas to you and yours. I'm glad you're out there, Jeff. Thanks, buddy. Talk to you later.
See you then.
All right, bye-bye. Wonder what Jeff's getting. I should ask him what he's getting for Christmas. Maybe he doesn't know. It's a surprise or something like that. Let me finish out this day in history.
Came down with the Coronavirus. Wait, what?
Got to change the lyrics. Hey, somebody might put one together. Someone needs to put together a parody Corona song for Christmas.
There is a fake ad for a Christmas album all about that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, maybe fine. We got a few weeks left before that.
Like
maybe we can play some of them.
Frosties on furlough.
Good. See, that's right down my alley. I like stuff like that.
I'll share that with you. I thought you've seen that already. Somebody
you got to send it.
It was like a fake. It was like order now for this holiday, and it's a collection of.
I'll have to put
and they just put like 4 or 5 like little lines of a song. They don't have the whole song, but it is a funny little parody of all of these COVID songs.
I'll play it live on the air and then on the podcast, and I'll deal with the lawsuits later. What the heck? I'll get barred from doing something. Continuing this day in history, October the 5th. Alan will be interested in this one as well. 2002, The Two Towers, the second Lord of the Rings film, premiered in New York on this day in history in 2002. And I want to go a day ahead, by the way. Am I allowed to do that? I can do it. It's my show. Tomorrow is December the 6th. And tomorrow will be the 41st anniversary, 1979, of Star Trek the Motion Picture. Tomorrow, December the 6th, is when Star Trek the Motion Picture, the first Star Trek film, the one that put them on the map, the one that allowed all the other Star Trek films to be made, even though pro or con, you may have liked it or not liked it. No, Alan's mother didn't care for the first Star Trek film.
Not so much.
But it's the one that started it all. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I was trying to think, before Star Trek, was there a movie made, a major motion picture made out of a television series before that? I'm thinking Star Trek may have been the first show where a major motion picture was made from the TV show. Now I know that Batman was on television in 1966, 67, and they did a movie of Batman called Batman the Movie and put it in the theaters while the show was still on. But that's different. It was still on at the time when that movie was in the theater, and it was filmed especially for movie theaters, Batman the Movie with Adam West. But I can't think of another show that was made into a motion picture that was based on a TV series before Star Trek. Maybe Peter Gunn. I know Peter Gunn was a detective show in the early 60s. It was a Blake Edwards TV show, and they made a big motion picture of it in the theater called Gun, Gun #1, and maybe that one was the first one. But I can't think of another one. So Star Trek the Motion Picture may have started that trend in the late 70s.
It's a good question.
Birthdays today. The director, German-American filmmaker and director and screenwriter Fritz Lang. His birthday is today. He was born in 1931 and he died in 1976. Alan, if you've never seen a Fritz Lang film, you really need to check them out. And 3 that I'll recommend to you is, one is Metropolis from 1927. You may have heard about it. It's a sci-fi movie. It's got the female robot in it that C-3PO was supposedly kind of based on in Star Wars. Another film called M, just the letter M, from 1931.
She runs the Bond unit?
No, it's not that M. Means a whole different thing. And Scarlet Street with Edward G. Robinson from 1945. It's a film noir, And it's a fantastic movie. So he was a very...
Edward G. Robinson,
yes, but he's not a villain in it. He plays a very vulnerable guy in it, kind of a wimpy artist in that, which is interesting, a different take for him to do. Today is the birthday of Walt Disney. His birthday is today. He died the year I was born, 1966. It's also Wayne Penniman's birthday, who was born in Macon, Georgia, and died in 2020. I'm sure you heard of some of Wayne's songs. Good Golly Miss Molly, and a lot of those songs were Wayne's songs. Oh, Little Richard, that's his name.
Little Richard.
Yeah. And today is also the birthday of Morgan Brittany.
Don't know who Morgan Brittany is.
I'll send you a photo of her. When you see the picture, you'll go, oh, I know who that is. She's one of those ladies that was popular in the late 70s and the 80s, Morgan Brittany. You'll know her if I see. She's kind of like Susan Lucci. One of those, she's kind of famous for being famous.
I know the name, but I can't put a face to that
You would know
either.
Morgan Brittany if I showed you a photo of her, and you do the same thing I would. You'd go, Morgan Brittany.
I have no idea who that is.
I'll show you a picture at the break. I bet you'll recognize her. She was in a Buck Rogers episode.
Morgan Fairchild, I know.
Morgan Fairchild, yeah, there's another Morgan. Today is National Bathtub...
Morgan Freeman, but I don't want that picture.
Who never played a bad guy.
I'm not putting that on my wall.
We talked about that.
I'll listen to him.
Hey, I first saw Morgan Freeman on the Electric Company. He was
True.
Easy Reader, yeah. Today is National Bathtub Party Day.
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
Okay. Are we going to take advantage of that? Well, a steamy bath during cold and flu season or coronavirus helps to clear out our sinuses and improve our oxygen intake. Did you know that? It also increases our circulation. The warm water reduces inflammation, easing achy joints and sore muscles, and it also helps relieve stress. Dropping temperatures outside mean cold hands and feet or just a chilled body in general. A soak in the warm tub warms us right up. Our skin loves the steam from the bath. To be sure to moisturize, too, when you do that. And bath oil, adding bath oil to your bath water to gain the most benefit of your bathtub party. Enjoy all the benefits of a bathtub party and celebrate with bubbles of all kind on today, which is National Bathtub Party Day.
You know how long it's been since I've had a bath?
That's why they have Bathtub Party Day, to remind you to take a bath sometimes.
I've never...
helps out.
Once I got to an adult, I realized, do I want to sit in a big tub of water that I'm filthy getting into
well, no,
and now I'm sitting there?
No, you can't think of it that way. You can't think of it. And
I'm washing parts of my body and I'm letting it sit there.
Maybe you've been taking a bath the wrong way all these years. The way I always take a bath, and still to this day, is if I take a bath, soak in the bathtub, put whatever oil, maybe soap and bubbles and stuff, sit there and soak and get clean and whatnot. But when I drain the water out, I stand up and I turn the shower on for about 30 seconds and just kind of rinse off and then get out. That's how I take a bath.
It doesn't negate the fact that for the time you were sitting in the tub, you were basically sitting in your own human soup.
I don't have a problem with that.
With your own filth just lying in the water.
I don't have a problem with that.
Or maybe even see it floating on the top of the water.
I don't have a problem with it. And at the break, I'll tell you how to...
I would have to do the reverse. I'd have to take my shower first, then sit in a tub.
But at the break...
They have rules at the pool. You're not supposed to jump in the pool dirty.
At the break, we're going to a break here. I'll show you how...
And I'll show you how chlorine in it.
I'll show you how to do your own jacuzzi in your bathtub, too. You may not know. I'll show you how to do that, too. But I'll tell you at the break. Today is International Ninja Day today, too. International Ninja Day. But shh, don't tell
have to be international. I don't think any come from America.
Don't tell anybody. Well, the Ninja Burger created it, and I didn't even know this. There's an outfit called Ninja Burger that delivers food to people.
Ninja Burger.
And I didn't know that. And they say they deliver in like 20 minutes or less.
Okay.
That's because they're ninjas. But
you don't see them.
Yeah, but would you
hear them?
But would your stuff be there though? Would it still be there?
You have to wait till you smell it.
Either.
Oh, the Ninja Burgers were here.
I smell my burger. I've take a bath too. Speaking on there.
It's okay if you don't understand what he's talking about. He probably doesn't either. It's BK on the air on AM 1450, FM 100.3, and online using the Tunein radio app.
Oh, you better not pout. You better not cry. You better not shout. I'm telling you why. Sanitizer's coming to town.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's a COVID Christmas.
That's right, baby. That's hilarious.
Hey, don't forget, Grandma's got to quarantine till Christmas. Grandma's got to quarantine till Christmas.
And who was furloughed?
Guess she shouldn't have gone out for Thanksgiving.
COVID-19. Wow. A COVID-19 Christmas. Well, I've got to... That's one of the very rare times you'll ever hear us sing.
Very, very rare.
And the reason you never hear us sing is you just heard the reason.
Well, you never give us the comedic singing part. Now, if you want me to do that, that's no problem.
Like we just did.
I don't even have to try, and it's funny.
We can sing badly all day long, which is very easy to do. So 770-386-1450 is our number. It's BK on the air. We're back on the air here, much to everyone's detriment. Thinking, oh, they're back. I thought they were done with that show. I have a couple of Christmas
24 more minutes.
That's right. I got to squeeze all these other things in. That reminds me, I got all these things I got to squeeze in. And after our next break, I want to talk about some of the hottest toys that you can buy for kids right now that some of them are clamoring for. If you need to have any ideas, I think it's still early enough to let people know what's hot out there to buy for kids. But right here, I have a story from Michael Bartiromo from Fox News. Hanging lights on the Christmas tree. Should you try stringing them differently this year? I don't know if anyone's ever heard of this, but somebody's done everything, so I know that not many things have gotten by some people. Every year you put your best Christmas ornaments on the show side of the tree and leave your lesser favorite baubles, like that papier-mâché Santa your nephew made in preschool, for the back. Sorry, but they do that sometimes. So why are you still hanging lights evenly around both the front and the back? That's what this article says. If you haven't decorated your tree yet, you might want to consider an idea that's gaining traction on social media and other places. Hanging your Christmas lights vertically instead of wrapping them around the branches horizontally. According to the decorating gurus who champion this trend, hanging your lights from top to bottom not only saves you from having to waste too many lights on the back of the tree, but it also allows the bulbs, if you have a tree that sits by a wall or something like that, but it also allows the bulbs to sit closer to the tips of the branches for maximum sparkle. Experts claim it's a lot easier than unstringing the lights after the holidays, too. Yeah, that's pretty rough when you have to unstring them and they're all tied up and messed up and stuff. The idea has been circulating for a while now, but most recently started trending and isn't entirely new. Designer and decorator Francesco Bilotto has been promoting this method for years, suggesting a similar top-to-bottom S-shaped approach on today.com and housebeautiful.com. David Stark, an event designer in New York City, had also revealed to realsimple.com that vertical lights are also his preferred trick. So there's a little different way of hanging your lights if you want to have it a little bit differently. So.
Whistle on the play, call on the BS flag
come on
that one.
Can't people do things differently? Come on. What's wrong?
Well, it depends.
That?
If your lights stay on all the time, you don't have twinkling lights or chasing lights, then fine. Do whatever you want.
Right.
But the one thing wrong with that, and I learned it very early on when I have 7 or 8 strings of chasing
Now, by the
lights.
way, everybody, this is coming from a guy here who has a Christmas tree in every freaking room of his house.
So I know what I'm talking about.
And I think it's going to be in the bathroom this year, too.
You don't disperse them evenly, then you'll start to see the patterns of there's string 1, and it's on its own little routine versus string 2 versus you'll see wait, if I do an S curve down one side of the tree and then down the next, and then you'll wait a minute. They're out of time with one another. You can tell there's individual strands.
So that's why you don't do it if you're blinking lights. Second, you don't just put it on the tips of your branches because then you only have lights on the outside. You need to put lights that go, actually, you weave them in and out of the branches so there's depth and you see twinkle all through the tree, not just on the outside of the tree.
See, when Alan talks about this stuff, you're not in the studio with him. You're not seeing how his eyes widen. Hands start moving around like
this is the first argument.
And he gets passionate. He's passionate about this.
First story you brought in.
Wrong. So in other words, I guess I'll just take this and...
There you go. Appropriately filed.
Tear it up. Tear it up.
There you go.
Back it up.
I know how to light a Christmas tree.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to give that side of it because some people have different ideas about having to do
If you're doing straight, just all white lights, and they're not going to blink, they're not going to do anything, fine. Do your little S thing.
He's very passionate about this.
But if you want to do it properly...
Do I have the blood pressure monitor over here? Do I need to take your blood pressure?
Good.
I can. Okay. I mean, it's a good thing. Sometimes your blood pressure rises is for a good reason.
You know, this is a good thing.
Not for always
being
bad.
in shape, I'm not worried because then my heart won't explode.
Well, you are in pretty good shape for a 50-year-old guy. You're right. Very good. Bring it up again. Every time I can bring it up, that's fine.
Listen, listen, Waldorf salad.
You got a few more days till the end of the year, so we got a few more to go. It's all right. Speaking of Christmas, I have a couple more Christmas stories here. Here's another one from your big. We love MASH. You and I love the TV show MASH, and in fact, we had somebody sent it out, or Walt sent it out on Facebook. Walt Into Darkness, your top 10 television shows of all time.
Walt started it, and I contributed to it.
And MASH was, I think, number 9 or number 8 in my top 10. It always has been. MASH is a great show. This comes from MeTV. Imagine that, me talking about a MeTV article. MeTV.com, the great network MeTV. Loretta Swit, who played Hot Lips Houlihan. She has an important Christmas message here recently and shopping advice for parents. For many kids, snooping for Christmas presents is just part of the tradition. Of course, I did it, you did it. I mean, come on. And then when I found out what I was getting, I regret it because I'm like, oh, I wish I hadn't looked. Now,
that was the one time I learned my lesson.
But I always did, though. I repeated the same mistake over and over again. In fact, today's kids go so far as to check their parents' browser history or wait outside to see what the Amazon trucks bring and intercept it before it gets there. Wow. There's ways for them to get around that, but you can still outsmart them if you're a good parent. But back when Loretta Swit was a kid in the 1940s, she wasn't the kind of child who wanted to know what she was getting before the big day arrived. She actually had the opposite problem from kids who have to snoop. She always knew exactly what she was getting, and her Christmas wish was that she didn't know. How, you ask? Listen to this. What always wound up happening was that her very practical, well-meaning mom ended up taking little Loretta Swit and her siblings Christmas shopping with her. So Loretta always knew what was inside every gift beneath the tree before she had a chance to peel back one strip of wrapping paper. In a 1980 interview in Orange Coast magazine, Swift delivered a message for parents who probably also mean well, like her mom, when they drag their kids shopping for Christmas. She said, please don't do that. Quote, Mother always had a thing about saying, well, we don't know what you need, so why not come shopping with us, Swit said. So I didn't even get to open a present and be surprised, unquote. Now travel back in time with us and think about what this means. Swit was born in 1937. She had just turned 8 when the Slinky came out, and 13 when the Magic 8-Ball started to mystify kids. But this magical era of toys wasn't experienced by unwrapping these unusual delights one by one. If little Loretta got these toys, she picked them out herself. Surely fun in the moment, but don't you think a Christmas surprise would have been even more fun? She'll never know, so you can see why she would imagine it would be better for a kid to enjoy a surprise on Christmas morning. Despite this damper on her childhood memories, Swit continued loving spending Christmas with her mom. Later in life, she and her mom even started a new holiday tradition, spending them with Jamie Farr, guy who played Klinger, on MASH in New York. Because they considered it's no surprise because she was close to him, and Swift has said many times that she described the entire cast of MASH as a family. Isn't that nice to be part of a big ensemble of a television show and a series where you all got along and you were family? I'm sure you had squabbles here and there and maybe an argument about something, but you quickly forget that once it's all over and it's in your rearview mirror and you have good memories of it. But an entire ensemble on a television show or a sitcom being like a family, that's pretty cool.
I wonder if she goes over there and asks for like tips on dresses.
From Jamie?
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think he really knows all that stuff?
I don't know. Don't we just think when we're younger that they are the people they play on TV?
Oh yeah, when I was younger, I did think that, and then I would spot them. I would start spotting them somewhere else. I think I was watching Gomer Pyle once, and I saw Jamie Farr on 2 different episodes of Gomer Pyle playing 2 different characters. Mm-hmm. So you start to see them everywhere else. And Father Mulcahy, William Christopher, I had that very voice. That's the voice. That's a very. He starts talking.
I didn't know he was a
exactly
Muppet.
Who he was. No, he said. Well, he sounds like it. He sounds like one. When he talks, he was a regular on Gomer Pyle. He was one of the guys in the barracks with Gomer Pyle for a while, and he sounded like, I guess Father Mulcahy was in the Marines here before he went on to be in Korea. Or he
joined the Army
in the 70s, and then he was Korea before. So, yeah, I was guilty of that. I always tricked my sister into telling me what I was getting for Christmas because my mom would tell my sister what I was getting, and I would go, oh, I know what I'm getting. It's a so-and-so, and I'd guess something wrong, and she'd go, no, it's not. It's this. And I'm like, oh, so that's what it is.
I'm at the point where my wife goes, you want to know what I got the girls? I'm like, nope. I want to be just as surprised when they're opening their gifts as me opening mine.
Yeah, especially when it's nothing, right?
Hey, Sergeant, you want some of this new Cool Whip topping?
Later, Pyle. I'm getting in shape in case our Cool Whip contest winner's a girl. Anybody can win a trip to Hollywood and a guest appearance on the show.
With us?
Yeah. What a prize. Just send your name and address and the side label, or write the words Cool Whip on a piece of paper. Get full details at your grocer's freezer. Over 1,000 other prizes, too.
Cool Whip.
Pyle!
Shazam!
You are listening to BK on the Air on AM 1450, FM 100.3, and online on the Tunein radio app. Now, back to a guy who'll make you feel really young, mostly because he's so old. It's BK on the Air.
Oh, being the dog lover and dog animal lover and dog adopter that we are, Our little dogs singing Jingle Bells for Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. I actually play that for a reason. I have a reason I did that, believe it or not. I just didn't do that willy-nilly.
I need you to tell me what that reason is.
I didn't do that willy-nilly, but I did that for a reason. First reason was just watch your face.
Yeah, because I'm breaking out into hives.
The second reason, well, come on, they're dogs. We love dogs.
Yes, but we like our dogs mannered.
Those dogs are mannered. How mannered are you to sit there and be disciplined to sing Jingle Bells?
Wait for my turn to bark instead of do like my dogs do, and one barks and they all join in.
I know that's right.
You can't all sing your parts at the same time.
In their own little chorus, right? I play that because I have this little story in my hot little hands right here, which is a good news, and what a great time of year to report this.
Oh, wait,
this
is
like
a great
Christmas
story.
Present. Yeah, we talked about it earlier this morning on your show. By Jared Leone and the Cox Media Group. It's a local story here from Georgia, from Savannah, Georgia. The Georgia Humane Society has a reason to celebrate. The sound of silence could be heard this past Thursday at the Humane Society for Greater Savannah as the shelter celebrated an unprecedented milestone. Every dog had been adopted.
That's awesome.
It was empty. That's one place where they've got nothing to do, and they're very happy that they don't have to do their job. At that point, that's the one job where you're like, oh, I'm glad I don't have to do anything.
Do we have to clean any kennels? Nope. Clean any dogs? Nope. Take any for walks? Nope.
Well, there may be some dirty ones left, but you're right. Now, this is the tweet they sent out. They played a tweet with a video of their kennel, and it had audio, but you didn't hear anything. It was just the room ambient noise. And it said, that's the sound of every single dog in our adoption center being adopted. That has never happened, and we are thrilled to announce that every dog, as of 4:51 p.m. this afternoon, that was this past Thursday, today's Saturday, the shelter said on social media, no worries, we will have more adoptable pets for you. And the agency said that they did have more animals ready for adoption as of yesterday on Friday. Of course they would, because it's never going to stop. We know that. But isn't it nice to know that at one point they had no animals left in there? And that is kind of a cool Christmas present. I mean, a gift. That's kind of cool to have done that. Because you and I both got all of our dogs from shelter. We're shelter guys. We go get them. I mean, I guess it's okay. It's in America. You can have a business if you want and sell dogs and whatnot. But I've always read for years, and my dad always told me growing up that full-blooded, pure-breed dogs, you'll have health problems with them and other things come along.
There is a higher chance you'll have a problem.
And there's nothing wrong with it. You want to go buy a dog at a pet store, it's a free country, you can do what you want. But I would personally, and I speak for Alan too, I would much rather save the life of a dog at a shelter and get them out of there and give them a life at home. I mean, we know it too. The dog we have now, Pippa, our Plot Hound mix, she's the perfect dog for us. She's I think we potty trained her like 2 or 3 times, and she had it. She was probably a little over a year old when we got her, so she was out of the chewing puppy phase. She had a little puppy stuff left in her. We had to teach her, no. And when they get somewhere very strange, I don't care how old the dog is, sometimes they'll be nervous, and it's hard for them to go to sleep. They'll whine and go, where am I? Stuff. We had to get her out of that. But she settled into our home very nicely, and now she rules the home. So now she's in charge. But having her around and knowing that we saved her life, and we took her into, when you adopt a pet, if you never adopted a pet from a shelter, do that. You'll get to go. Shelters are great. They'll let you, if you see a dog you think might be a candidate, they'll let you go and visit with the dog in a room, one-on-one with you and whoever the dog's going to be with. And we looked at several dogs before we got to her, and we're like, oh, wow, she's clicking with us. This is great. This is the one. And when you kind of know the one, and you know what? Let's be honest. They pick you is the thing. Some people pick the dog they want no matter what. It's like, well, I want that dog. I want a giant German Shepherd that's full of energy and runs around and goes crazy. Oh, you do? But you live in an apartment and you have no backyard.
And you're gone 12 hours a day.
And you're gone 12 hours a day. That's not going to work out very well.
No.
So you can't get stuck on what kind of dog you want. You have to really let the dog kind of choose you and be wise about it. And we were, and we always are. And to hear this news about that shelter, it's fantastic.
So here's the story I'll tell about Odie that we adopted. He's a half Italian Greyhound, half Rat Terrier.
Did you name him after the Garfield dog?
On purpose, because he was a goofball.
Odie!
But
I loved Odie. I loved Odie more than Garfield.
It turned into like a weird kind of evolving story. Like, there were 2 dogs simultaneously. One was a lot cuter than Odie. Right. And my wife was like, oh, I really want... And we played with both of them. It was at one of these rescue events.
Yeah.
But then she realized everybody that was coming by were looking at the same cute little dog.
Yeah.
And not the kind of goofier, not like an ugly dog, just kind of a goofy, like, what's wrong with him?
Yeah. That's where I grabbed it.
And so Susan was like, well, let's see him. And the lady was like, oh, he's going to be really. He's very sheltered, and he was probably abused, and we're not sure what we're going to be able to do with him. Well, I don't know if it was something about us. We just are naturally good with dogs. We were like, oh, we're going to rescue this guy.
Your dog whisperers like
we're going to rescue this guy. And you could tell he was bonding already with me and my daughters and Susan. But we got her home. I got him home, and he was real skittish. He was more like a cat than a dog. Like, you know that cat that's like afraid of everything, always flinching. And I'll never forget, he was sitting on the bed, sitting on my pillow, actually. And the first time we got him home, and he was like still shaking and still nervous, like, I don't know what's going on. And I just was getting undressed, and I took my belt off. And you know how when you pull your belt through your loops, it makes a kind of sound? He rolled on his back and peed. He was freaked out. He's like, oh, my God, you're going to spank me.
Maybe he had been abused, Wow.
And I knew immediately. He's like, okay, from that point forward, we had to, and it took us about 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
We had to make sure we didn't rush toward him.
Yep.
Like, you couldn't go, Odie, because he would just, freak out you were coming to hurt him.
Yeah.
That dog has now been so rehabbed, and it didn't take long at all.
Yeah.
He will cuddle by my side. He wants to be with me. When we sleep at night, he burrows underneath and hangs down by my... He is the most awesome, just loving, cuddling dog. And I knew nobody would have given him a chance like we did. And he turned into a completely different dog. Totally different. He's awesome.
Here's kind of a related question. Who cuddles more at your side, him or your better half?
Him.
Okay, good. See? There you go.
But that's not really a fair question, because there's also an 85-pound lab that also tends to create sort of that. What do they call that in World War I? Oh yeah, no man's land.
Yeah, the place where can't do anything.
I'm in my trench, she's in hers, and there's no man's land.
It's that area of land between the Berlin East and West Berlin Wall there that they had the place where
right, the Maginot Line right.
It was fun. It was fun weeding through the dogs that we wanted, because we'd come up on a dog and go, I kind of like that dog. And then we'd start to check it out, and then it'd be like, it was like, oh, okay, he's kind of an angry dog. I don't want to get into that. Then we found another male dog where I'm like, oh, he's a great dog, honey. Look at this dog. And he came up to the fence, the gate he was in, the little cage. And he was so happy. And then we started talking amongst ourselves and looked back at one of the other contender dogs, this dog, and he started jumping 6 feet into the air. 6 feet into the air. This dog could jump higher than a kangaroo. He was excited, but he was jumping. I'm like, no, he's going to jump over the fence in the backyard. We can't have him because we're not for what we want.
But here's the funny thing. So Odie's like that. Odie has a vertical, but he hasn't figured out how to do a vertical with forward motion. Okay, it's just straight up.
Once he learns that.
So far, it hasn't.
He's getting out of Stalag 13.
It's funny as all, because he'll do the boing, but straight up.
Well, then we know that dog was. We couldn't take that dog. So you kind of weed through the ones, and then we came upon our dog. Our dog didn't even have a name. Our dog Pippa, when we got there, she had just been turned in, so she hadn't even been properly checked in yet. And when we started, Stacy had seen her and started talking about her and says, "Well, do me a favor. I want that, but I got to bring my husband to look, and we got to visit with her in the room. Don't." Leave this dog here. Get it checked in, but know that we're interested in her. She was just new to the place, and we got back, and she didn't have a name or anything, and she was a stray that they found. So we wound up taking her into the room, bonded with her. I'm like, she's beautiful, brindle hair, Bloodhound mix, and she's been a wonderful addition ever since. So this story about the Humane Society in Savannah getting rid of all the dogs is great. And that's a great. If you think about a Christmas present, or it's Christmas, and you think about. Not everyone deserves a pet. You know, it's always a nice idea. Oh, I'll get my little niece a pet. Here's a little puppy. Well, that's not always. You need to check with people first before you give pets now, because parents may not want someone to have one.
Yeah, because that's actually a life.
Because now that's a responsibility that you're going to probably take up, because the kid's not going to take care of it. But if you're going to go that route and you know that it's okay, get a dog from a shelter or the Humane Society. Wherever you happen to live, don't care where it is. They all do good work at those shelters, especially now our local one here in Bartow County. They have the no-kill rates, I understand.
They have changed it around. It is a no-kill shelter. It is
fantastic.
They're so awesome. Brian Canty, the dog father.
He is awesome.
He goes by that name. Everybody knows him as the dog father.
That's great. I love it when it does that. I've got some. I want to get to this. I'm going to run out of time, but I'm going to post it on Facebook. The holiday toys to buy before they sell out, according to the experts. If you're wondering what to get your child for Christmas, other than a puppy or a dog, if you don't want to do that. If you want to do that, fine. If they're ready to take on that. go ahead. Or get one of the battery ones, the little battery puppy that barks. And do they still make those?
Arf, arf.
I don't know. One of the big, I'll hit on one of them. One of the coolest toys you could get this year, especially if they love The Mandalorian, is the child animatronic edition of Baby Yoda. Star Wars the Child. Well, Grogu, but it's still on the package. It says Star Wars the Child. Baby Yodas are popular with the kids and adult collectors, so you'll be competing with a lot more shoppers to get one, according to Chris Byrne, who also is known as the Toy Guy. This one will lead the pack because it really feels like it's come to life. Now, what does it do? Touch the top of Baby Yoda's head to make it coo, babble, and wiggle its ears, just like he does on the show. Touch it again, and it will close its eyes and stick out one hand to activate the Force. Lay it down so it can take a Force nap to recharge. Perfect. You can pre-order yours by right now to get it in time for the holidays if you try, because it's ticking up closer to Christmas. The little guy's going fast. Walmart still has a few in-person pickup for in-person pickup only, and Amazon is estimating 2 to 5 weeks for delivery. So you may have already missed the thing on Amazon. So
get a baby Grogu.
You're going to shell out $59 for it. So and I'll do some more of those next week because Christmas is going to tick right on along through our show. We'll be on Saturday, the day after Christmas, which will be still Christmassy. That'll be great for us here at WBS.
Here's everything you wish you got.
That's right. Well, I'll have a long list, and I can go way back on that list, back to my childhood. It's BK on the Air. Have a good time. Thanks, Alan, for being here with me. You catch me on the podcast later on. BK on the Air.
You know how long it's been since I've had a bath?